The old man stared intently at him, his voice firm. If this old man can control stones, then this old man can also do things like this. Dinhao broke into a cold sweat and cried out, "Wait! Old man! Master!" But his pleas could not stop the old man, who continued to launch his attack toward him. Born into a family of martial artists, he knew from a young age that the only path to his dream was through relentless effort. The boy lay there and sighed. Even with all the natural talent in the world, you can't succeed without hard work. However, for a young man with such incredible willpower, there was just one tiny problem. He turned his head to look out the window, where the last rays of sunset were fading. He sat up, staring blankly at the final moments of the day. Then, he flopped back onto the bed with a sigh. What a shame. I was totally going to start my journey to becoming the world's #1 today. But it has already gotten dark. Oh well. Might as well get a good night's sleep. Training can wait till tomorrow. Just then, a man walked into the room, saw him sleeping soundly, and roared. "Get up!" The boy woke with a start, smiling. "Father, you are here." The man was Guyan Trinheen, the head of the Guangdong Guyan family, known famously as the Sword of Righteous Justice. He stared down at his son sternly. "Do you have any idea the sun is about to set?" The boy scratched his head. "Yeah. I know." His father pressed on. "And you are still just lying there." The boy answered matter-of-factly. "Well, yeah. The sun's about to set." "Right." A vein popped on Guyan Trinheen's forehead. "Do you know how long you have been lazing around in this room?" The boy looked a little confused. 2 days. 3. Probably just 2. The man bellowed in fury. "It's been 4 days. 4. You worthless brat. For 4 straight days. You have done nothing but hole yourself up in this room, wrapped in blankets, rolling around. Doesn't your back hurt? Even a bear hibernating for 3 days has to roll over from the sweat on its back." The boy just chuckled and scratched his head. "That is why I sit up every once in a while before lying back down. You are worrying over nothing." "Father." These words only fueled the man's rage, and he gritted his teeth. Seeing this, the boy quickly changed his tune. "It is not what you think, honestly. I was planning on training, but every time I opened my eyes, the sun was already gone. And when the sun sets, you have to sleep. What else am I supposed to do? That way, I can wake up early tomorrow to train." "Right." This sent his father over the edge. He stormed forward, ripped the blankets off the bed, and screamed, "You lazy little punk. Today, I am going to beat that laziness out of you. And while I am at it, I will fix that smart mouth of yours, too." And just like that, the boy was sent tumbling to the floor, landing in a perfect headstand. A while later, the father was back in his study, clutching his head with a deep sigh. The head steward, Tri Fijong, entered and asked, "My lord, are you worried about the second young master again?" He sighed again. "If he were not the way he is, what would I have to worry about?" Trifeintrong tried to console him. "The young master will mature soon enough." "My lord." This only made him more dejected. He buried his face in his hands. "It is all my fault." He remembered back when Guyan Ha was only 2 years old, and Nguyen Trinheen had set off on his journey through the martial world. His wife, his 2 sons, and his unborn daughter had all tearfully seen him off. At first, he thought the trip would last 2 years at most. But he got swept up in countless conflicts, and it took him a full 8 years to return home. Thanks to that journey, he earned the title of Sword of Righteous Justice, reaching heights he never thought possible. However, it came at a steep price. When he returned, his once gentle wife had become more fearsome than a tiger, and the son he had once cherished more than anything had turned into a slacker so lazy, he could barely stand to look at him. Remembering all this, he could not help but let out a helpless sigh. Trifayong smiled gently. "Please, my lord, do not worry yourself so. I am sure there is a solution." The father stood up, staring intently at Trifajing. "What solution?" Trifang replied with a serious tone. "Indeed, my lord. Have you forgotten? Asterisk is coming home soon." Hearing this, Nguyen Trinheen's spirits lifted, and he nodded. "That is right." Trifayong continued. "After 3 years of diligent training at the academy, it is finally time for him to return." Nguyen Trinheen grinned maliciously and nodded. "Yep. That little brat Nine Dine Hao is so screwed." The only person Nguyen Dine Hao feared was his older brother, Sun Hao. Suddenly, Dine Hao shuddered, a chill running down his spine. He whipped his head around to see Sun Hao standing there, staring at him with ice-cold eyes. "How many hours have you slept today?" Dine Hao broke out in a cold sweat. Stammering, "Big brother. When did you get here?" Sun Hao's face was grim. "I asked you first." Dine Hao scratched his head. laughing nervously. That Sun Hao was not joking around. His expression remained like a frozen lake. Dine Hao scrambled to explain. It is not what you think. I was training early this morning. I trained so hard I got exhausted. So I was just resting my eyes for a second, I swear. He pleaded, while cursing in his head. Damn it. When the hell did he get back? Sun Hao asked doubtfully. You are saying you already trained, seeing Dine Hao nod. He pointed to a nearby candle. Fine. Then use a single sword strike to slice the candle in two. Let me see just how much you have improved in the 3 years I have been gone. Dine Hao did not dare refuse. He could only get out of bed, grab his sword, and walk toward the candle. Sun Hao urged him on. What are you standing there for? Make your move. Dine Hao nervously raised his sword. But we are inside. It is kinda dangerous. Do not you think? Sun Hao's patience was wearing thin. I will worry about that. Stop making excuses and just do it. Dine Hao had no choice but to obey. He squeezed his eyes shut and thought to himself. Here goes nothing. Whatever happens. Happens. He took a deep breath and began to spin his sword. After a moment, he pointed the blade forward. The candle was about 10 feet away. Dine Hao poured all his strength into his feet and lunged forward. Behind him, Sun Hao watched intently. Not blinking for an instant, the technique Dine Hao performed was called Flying Dragon Soars to the Heavens. After a flurry of movement, he let out a sigh of relief and turned to look. But the candle was perfectly intact. Without a single scratch, Dine Hao's heart sank. Oh no. I am so... Sun Hao spoke. 3 years have passed. 3 years is enough time to master a sword art. Enough time to break through to a new realm. And yet, you are even worse than you were 3 years ago. You have disappointed me. His older brother then turned and left the room without another word. A short while later, the entire family of 5 was gathered around the dinner table. Dine Hao sat there with a gloomy expression, thinking to himself, I am definitely going to get indigestion. Nguyen Trinheen turned to his eldest son. How was life at the academy? Did you run into any trouble? Sun Hao replied calmly. Everything was fine. Father, if training did not have its difficulties, it would not be training. I believe those are challenges I must overcome on my own. Nguyen Trinheen nodded. Pleased. You have worked hard while I was away. Sun Hao replied. You are the one who endured hardship on your long journey. Father. Nguyen Trinheen nodded. All right. Is there anything else you wish to share with the family? Sun Hao put down his chopsticks and said seriously. There is one thing I must discuss. Their mother, Henthuanga, immediately asked. What is it, dear? Sun Hao looked straight ahead. It is about Dine Hao. Thuonenga frowned with worry. Is something wrong with Hao? Dine Hao nearly choked on his food. He thought frantically. Big bro. Do not you dare sell me out. What could possibly be wrong with me? Sun Hao looked directly at him and said clearly. I am taking him to the martial arts academy. Hearing this, Dine Hao froze, his mouth hanging wide open. Completely speechless. Cutting back to the 2 beggars. Nguyen Trinheen could not help but exclaim. Whether it was the great master Wu San or the blade tyrant. Just hearing the name Nguyen Dine Hao was enough to make them grit their teeth in fury. That was the beginning of a major historical event. At the time, no one could have ever imagined that lazy young boy would become a master who would shake the very heavens. Dine Hao, already on his horse just outside the estate, whined. Big brother. Can't we just rest for a little bit before we go? Nguyen Dine Hao reluctantly continued his journey to the academy. His family was emotional. His little sister, Yun Tulian, cried and tugged at him. Second brother. Do not, Nguyen Trinheen said cheerfully. You would better come back a true man. Their mother, Thuong added worriedly. You too. Be careful on the road. Dine Hao waved a sad goodbye to everyone. The 2 brothers spurred their horses onward. The journey was going smoothly. At least, from Nguyen Sun Hao's perspective, Dine Hao was lying flat on his back on top of his horse. Groaning. Are we there yet? Sun Hao replied. Just another 10 days. Dine Hao shot up in shock. 10 more days. Sun Hao reminded him. If you would actually ride your horse properly, we could have been there in 5. Dine Hao shot back irritably. I told you. I have never ridden a horse before. Sun Hao replied calmly. I am not blaming you. Dine Hao fumed. Yep. You are. You are blaming me right now. Sun Hao remained cool. You asked. So I answered. Dine Hao went back to whining. Can't we just rest for a bit? Do you have any idea how steep this hill is? I am so tired I could die. My back is about to snap. And my butt feels like it is going to explode. He pointed to a nearby tree. Look. Those guys over there must be exhausted too. They are all just lying on the ground resting. Sun Hao followed his gaze and suddenly froze. He immediately dismounted. Dan Hao was confused. What is wrong? Where are you going? Sun Hao did not answer and walked toward the men. Dan Hao followed him, asking, What are you doing? Sun Hao sighed. It is too late. They are all dead. Hearing this, Dan Hao broke into a cold sweat and cried out in alarm. What? Sun Hao picked something up from the ground and gestured for Dan Hao to look. He pulled back the corpse's shirt, pointing to a wound on the victim's chest. This is a technique called the plucking flower palm. Dan Hao asked. Confused. Plucking flower palm. You mean like picking flowers? Sun Hao shook his head. It was originally called the red flower palm, but a lecherous demon named Taeku used it to commit countless atrocities. Because of him, the name was changed to the plucking flower palm. Dan Hao cut in. Wait, a lecherous demon. Does that mean that guy is around here? Sun Hao continued. Taeku does not frequent places like brothels. He specifically targets women traveling on remote mountain paths. The fact that we found bodies killed by the plucking flower palm here means he was targeting a woman and attacked her companions. Which means, right now, a woman is in grave danger. With that, he shot off like a blur, calling back, I will be right back. You wait here. Dan Hao panicked, yelling after him. You are telling me to stay here and watch the horses with all these dead bodies. Big brother, this is not funny. But no matter how much he screamed, Sun Hao's figure was already disappearing in the distance. Dan Hao nervously glanced at the corpses beside him. The two warhorses were panting heavily, and flies were buzzing all around the bodies. The longer he looked, the more terrified he became. I am so scared. An unknown amount of time passed, and the sky began to darken. Dan Hao looked up and screamed. You liar. Why aren't you back yet? If this was the plan, you should have just taken me with you. But then, a serious thought crossed his mind. Wait. What if something happened to Big Brother? Otherwise, there is no way he would be gone this long. Just then, a powerful gust of wind swept through the area. Yahello gripped the reins, struggling to calm his panicked warhorse. I have got to think of something. If we just stand here, we will be torn apart by predators. Just then, a massive bolt of lightning split the sky, scaring the hell out of him. The rain started pouring down. Yahello looked up, his face a mask of despair. It is over. I am completely screwed. His scream echoed through the desolate landscape. Under the torrential downpour, he clenched his jaw and began forcing the warhorse up the mountain. For some reason, he started loading all the bodies onto his horse, determined to take them with him. Damn it. If I leave them here, they will just be devoured by wild beasts. I can't just abandon them. I was going to give them a proper burial before leaving. But who knew this storm would hit? I have to find shelter. Fast. Just then, the warhorse suddenly froze in its tracks. Dan Hao, pushing from behind, yelled in frustration. What is wrong with this horse now? So disobedient. By now, he had reached the bank of a stream. A bolt of lightning struck nearby, spooking the warhorse, which bucked and kicked him into the air. Dan Hao had no time to react and went tumbling into a bush, where he lay groaning in pain. A moment later, he shakily pushed himself up. Oh God. My back. That damn horse deserves to be struck by lightning. But as he sat up, he froze, noticing something. What is this? A cave. A second later, he burst into manic laughter. Yep. I found shelter. He looked back outside and saw the two warhorses were still there. Dan Hao quickly tied their reins to a nearby boulder to keep them from running off again. After he was done, he stood there looking at them and sighed. I guess I can't even beat you up for that. Then he looked down at his own miserable state and muttered. What a mess I am. No wonder they say leaving home is nothing but trouble. I left a sign at the cave entrance. Big Brother should be able to find his way here. With that, he collapsed onto the ground with a sigh. All right, time to get some serious sleep. But no matter how long he lay there, he could not close his eyes, his mind filled with worry. Big Brother's gonna be okay. Right, of course he is. I mean, it is him we are talking about. He will definitely come back and find me here. Finally, he drifted off to sleep. While he was out, the two warhorses managed to break free from their tethers and wandered away. The sky quickly brightened, but Dan Hao slept like the dead, showing no signs of waking. When night fell again, he had been asleep for 2 straight days without stirring once. Suddenly, a blue light emanated from his body, quickly enveloping him completely. The light gently lifted him into the air, carrying him deeper into the cave, through a solid rock wall, and then vanished. An unknown amount of time later, Dan Hao groggily woke up. He looked around, bewildered. This cave ceiling looks weird. Looks like I went deeper into the cave. Did I roll in here in my sleep? Just then, a voice echoed through the chamber. Destined 1. Hao jumped in fright. What the hell was that? He tumbled to the ground, wincing in pain, but then, he noticed a glowing blue orb hovering in the air. The voice came from it. Welcome. Destined 1. Who has followed the threads of fate to this place? My descendant. Light sword. White infinity. Hao asked skeptically. Excuse me. Is that glowing ball talking to me? The voice confirmed. Indeed. Destined 1. I am transcending space and time to pass my will unto you. Accept my will and bring peace to the world. But Hao just screamed in terror. What is this ghostly nonsense? The voice soothed. Do not be afraid. I have already ascended. What remains here is but a fragment of my will. I left it for the destined one who would one day arrive. Therefore, do not doubt. Accept my will. Hao thought to himself. Wait a minute. This situation feels way too familiar. A mysterious case. The will of a legendary predecessor. This has to be a fated encounter. It must be a reward from the heavens for living such a righteous life. With this, I can get super strong. Super fast. I won't even need to go to that stupid academy. He let out a delighted laugh. The voice spoke again. There is not much time. Destined 1. Accept my sword arts and use them to restore justice to the world. I shall bestow upon you my school of the light sword. You must train ceaselessly to hone your skills. If you carry my bloodline, your talent will surely be exceptional. Train diligently here for just 30 years. And you will be able to replicate a fraction of my true power. Hearing this, the color drained from Hao's face. 30 years. The voice confirmed. That is correct. You need only train for 30 years. Hao frantically waved his hands. Wait. Hold on. I think we have had a misunderstanding. This fate thing is not going to work out. You should probably find someone else. The voice sputtered. What? Hao answered bluntly. Look, if a fated encounter is going to cost me 30 years of my life, I would rather just not have it. After rejecting the offer, Hao immediately turned to leave. Well, I will be on my way then. But his host was not about to let him go that easily. He would only taken a few steps when a voice stopped him. This old man told you to wait a moment. The speaker was Baek Muhen himself. Hao stopped and glanced back at him. You are just some kind of con artist. Hearing this, Baek Muhen was offended. A con artist? What kind of person do you take this old man for, to speak such words? Hao was not backing down. He pointed a finger and yelled. You put on this whole mysterious, high and mighty act. But here you are in the flesh, Baek Muhen explained. This old man is not putting on an act. I am truly a remnant of will that has separated from its physical form. Hao stood with his arms crossed, a smug look on his face. Still unconvinced, a will separated from its body. The next moment, he swung a punch, aiming to knock the old man out. But his fist passed straight through him. Seeing the boy stumble and fall through him, Baek Muhen asked. Bewildered. What in the world are you doing? Hao screamed in terror. It's a ghost? Baek Muhen snapped. How dare you call this old man a ghost? This is the soul manifestation art. A technique that only martial artists who have reached the absolute pinnacle of their craft can perform. But Hao was not listening. He just shrugged. Yeah. Well, I have decided you are a ghost. The old man was about to explode with rage. I told you. I'm not. Cutting back to the storyteller. The beggar calmly continued his explanation. And that is how Hao met his master. The young boy asked. The soul manifestation art. Does such a thing really exist? The beggar confirmed. Indeed. It is an art that only masters who have reached the highest possible realm can use. The boy was still confused. So who exactly was this martial artist? To be able to use such a profound technique. The beggar's face grew serious. Have you ever heard of the Sword Emperor? The boy replied. Of course. Who has not? He is called the greatest of all time. A legendary figure from the 10,000 Swords Baek clan. One of the most renowned masters in the history of the martial world. The beggar nodded with a smile. Correct. The light sword. Baek, hailed by later generations as the Sword Emperor, was the master of the radiant martial lord. The boy was stunned. Really? But was not he a figure from 300 years ago? The beggar elaborated. Yep. He was a great man from a forgotten era. But the story of his meeting with Ingai Hao is true. The boy sighed in awe. What an incredible encounter. After finding out the truth, the radiant martial lord must have immediately begged to become his disciple. Right, the beggar chuckled. It was quite the opposite. After realizing that in 300 years, not a single one of his descendants had come to find him, the Sword Emperor was determined to take on a disciple. No matter the cost, he pointed at the boy and roared. You must become this old man's disciple. Hao casually strolled away with his hands behind his back. Geez. Why are you getting so worked up? I am not from the Bake clan. I am really not cut out for this. See ya. The old man threw up his hands and screamed. Do you really think this old man will let you leave so easily? Instantly, a massive boulder slammed down, blocking the exit. Hao stared at the stone blocking his path. Completely dumbfounded, the old man cackled triumphantly behind him. How do you like that? This is a stone gate, a full 10 feet thick, with your current strength. You have no hope of lifting it or breaking it. But if you learn this old man's martial arts, you could slice through it like mud and walk right out. Hao thought for a moment, then sighed. He reached into his robes for something. Well, I guess I have no choice. The old man, seeing the boy still had no intention of accepting him, yelled, I told you. With your current power, you cannot break that stone gate. But Hao ignored him, took out his sword, sat down, and began to chip away at the rock. This left the old man utterly confused. What are you doing? The boy answered plainly. Can't you see? I am digging a doggy door. No matter how hard it is still just a rock. If I keep scraping at it with steel, it is bound to wear down. Give me a year or two, and I will be right through. No big deal. The old man sighed in exasperation. You are really going to do that for 2 whole years? The boy, however, was committed to his choice and continued to diligently chip away. Hao's voiceover chimed in. Funny. Coming from the guy who told me I had to train for 30 years. Shaking with pure rage, the old ghost gritted his teeth. This damn brat. I swear. If only I could actually kill him. After a moment, he regained his composure and tried to entice him again. Stop that. Just give it a try. This old man promises you won't be disappointed. The boy could not care less and shook his head. Not interested. The old man, not giving up, continued to negotiate. All right then. How about this? This old man will help you break the stone gate within 20 years. What do you say? The boy, now lying on the floor, shook his head. 20 years. Still too long. If you said 3 years, maybe I would think about it. The old man's spirit heart was filled with bitterness, but he forced a friendly tone. You mean you want to learn all of my martial arts in just 3 years? Not even the great Zhang Sanfeng could do that if he were resurrected. Hao did not react, simply sitting up and resuming his chipping. Then I guess it was not meant to be. The old man could not hold it in any longer, his teeth grinding audibly. Finally, he threw out the number 5. How about 5 years? I do not care what it takes. In 5 years, this old man will make you the greatest martial artist in the world. Hearing this, Hao finally showed some interest. He pondered. Become number 1 in the world in 5 years. I have never heard of anyone being able to maintain their will in such a vivid form after death. Maybe half of what this old ghost is saying is true. What if he really was the greatest master ever? All right. I will use this chance to become a master myself. Only 5 years. What a bargain. He decisively tossed his sword aside and made his decision. Fine. I will give it a shot. At that time, Hao had no idea that the man before him was the legendary Sword Emperor. But you had to feel sorry for the Sword Emperor, too. To meet someone like this in his final moments. As Hao slept like the dead, the old man roared. Wake up, you worthless brat. Hao groggily woke up. I am so sleepy. Don't you ever need to sleep? Right. You are already dead. What is sleep to you? But I am alive. Don't you know living people need sleep? Baek Muhan's entire form trembled with rage. But he forced himself to stay calm. Fine. This old man knows he was wrong. All right, but now it is time for you to train. He was endlessly cursing the heavens. The disciple he took in his final moments was unimaginably lazy. Hao yawned. Train. I just opened my eyes. He would sleep all day. Which was one thing. But whenever he actually started training, Hao would just go through the motions once and then quit. The old man, seething with rage, screamed. At this rate, forget 5 years. You won't be done in 50. The boy asked with a bored expression. Isn't there an easier way to learn this stuff? The old man thought. If only this disciple of mine were mute, maybe I would not despise him so much. Hao sighed. This is exactly why people need to find a competent master. Every single word he spoke sent the old man into a rage. If he had a physical body, he would have surely suffered a fatal chi deviation, his meridians shattering as he collapsed. He thought to himself, I am not seeking fame or fortune. I just wanted to pass on my techniques. So I left behind my will, only to end up in this miserable situation. If only I had a body, I could just beat him into submission. It would be so much easier to teach him. Hao, after rolling around on the floor for a bit, asked, Master, How did you do that thing back then? You know, when you made that stone gate collapse. Can't you just use that power to control my body and teach me the techniques that way? The master explained. At that time, your master merely pulled the trigger of a pre-arranged mechanism. Hearing this made the boy even more confused. How can a will with no body pull anything? The master explained. It has nothing to do with having a body. It was simply using Kwai to pull the trigger via telekinesis. At that moment, it was as if he had an epiphany. And he let out a hearty laugh. Why did not I realize this sooner? Seeing his master's strange behavior, Dainhao was filled with question marks. What is, old man? What is wrong with you? Have you finally lost your mind? Old ghost, he laughed cheerfully. I do not know why this old man was so stuck on the idea that I did not have a body. Perhaps maintaining my will for 300 years has made my mind a bit foggy. In any case, thank you. Dainhao looked at him, confused. Old man, what are you muttering about to yourself? Just then, he felt something strange and quickly glanced behind him. Cracks started to spiderweb across the once solid stone wall. Meanwhile, the old man continued to laugh cheerfully. Thank you for helping this old master achieve enlightenment. I may no longer have a physical body, but I can control these stones with ease. Anytime I wish. Yanho asked nervously. Old man, what are you planning to do? The old man stared him down, his voice dangerously calm. If I can control stone, then I can certainly do this asterisk. Yanho broke out in a cold sweat, screaming. Wait, no. Master. But his pleas could not stop the old man, who relentlessly continued his assault. Yanho's agonizing scream echoed through the air, and then faded away. From that day on, the grueling training of Baek Muhan and Guan Yanho continued without end. By day, the two trained tirelessly with their swords, never wasting a single moment. By night, they would gather to debate the very essence of swordsmanship. Even in his sleep, Yu Guiyanhao continued to train. Thanks to the peerless divine dream training art that Baek Muhan had taught him, his life became the sword, and the sword became his life. Not a single moment was he allowed to be lazy. Time flew by like an arrow, and 5 years passed, and then, the day finally came. Dainhao, with his own power, shattered the stone wall and stepped outside. He tilted his head back to the sky, took a deep breath, and declared, the one who will make the entire world tremble has returned. A wicked smile spread across his face as he whispered, Let us rewind to the day before he left the cave. Dainhao was deep asleep when his master's voice woke him. He sighed. Let me sleep a little longer, but the old man persisted. And finally, he had no choice but to sit up, he said irritably. Seriously, I told you to let me sleep a bit more. Do you not trust me at all? But then, he noticed something was different. The old man sat there, his voice grave. Come here. Seeing his master's sullen expression, Dainhao also became more serious. What is it? Master. The old man sighed, his voice full of emotion. I spent my entire life pursuing martial arts, and seeing its ultimate peak was my only wish. I once thought that if I could just achieve that, everything would be perfect. But that was not the case. In the end, martial arts are forged by people. If you do not experience the ups and downs of life, if you do not walk the path of an ordinary person, then what good is it to see the pinnacle of the sword? It was you who helped me realize that. This was the first time I ever tried to teach someone. There were times of anger, times of frustration. But watching you gradually improve, I felt joy and understood what it means to take pleasure in something. And through that, I also came to understand the meaning of affection. Dainhao asked with a growing sense of dread. Master, what is wrong? Why are you talking like we will never see each other again? The old man nodded, his voice low and sad. That is right. It is. Dainhao shot up, agitated. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Eat his time. You think you can fool me with that? You originally told me I had to train for 30 years. It has only been 5. You are supposed to be around for another 25 years. The old man did not deny it, his voice tinged with sorrow. It is. I did say that. But the energy I used to maintain my will was transferred to you in the form of an internal pill, allowing you to survive in here without food or water. Maintaining it was not as easy as you think. Now, my power is depleted. It is time for us to part ways. Dainhao stammered, his voice choked with confusion. Well, why did not you tell me sooner? If you had told me, I could have gone out to find food and come right back to train. The old man thought to himself. If you left this place, heaven only knows if you would have ever come back. But he did not say it out loud, only replying gently. It is all right. Your master understands your heart. In any case, the time I spent with you was very joyful. Your master had hoped to watch you roam the world for a little longer. But this is enough, he smiled. Content. His eyes filled with pride as he looked at his disciple. Imai, the image of you conquering the world is already crystal clear. Go and see the world. Take all of it into your heart. If you can do that, everything else will naturally come to you. But before you conquer the world, learn to see the people in it. Your master was so focused on reaching the peak that I forgot what was right at my feet. Do not repeat my mistake. Even though I can never see you again, even if the whole world forgets my existence, my shadow will live on in your every movement, in every swing of your sword. You do not need to be exceptional or great. Just being yourself is enough. Dinhao's face was a mask of sorrow, his voice cracking. Master, you can't just leave like this. There is still so much I have not learned. I do not need to learn anymore. Just stay for one more day. The old man was already fading away, his last words echoing in the cave. As long as you are happy, that is enough. In the dark cave, Dinhao was left all alone. He stood there, tears streaming down his face like rain, his heart aching with an unbearable pain. If only you had told me sooner. Back in the present, Dinhao's face was twisted in rage, veins popping on his forehead. So this is why you left without another word. How? When did you even write this? You damn old ghost. Couldn't you just die in peace? You had to leave this behind. Before he vanished, Baek Muhan had left a message on the clothes Nguyen Dian Hao was holding. The gist of it was this. The martial arts Nguyen Hao had learned over 5 years were still incomplete. Baek Muhan knew that if he disappeared, Nguyen Hao would stop training. He placed a restriction on his body. This restriction used the internal pill from Baek Muhan, which Dian Hao had swallowed, as its core, causing his martial arts to develop on their own. In other words, he would automatically get stronger. However, if the martial arts Nguyen Hao practiced could not keep up with the growth rate of the internal pill, his own internal energy would be completely drained, leading to his death. To sum it up, if he slacked off on his training, he would die. Reading this, Dian Hao could not help but scream in fury. That damn old ghost set me up. Therefore, travel the world and see all that it holds. If you see the world, you will feel many things, and once you feel, you will reap the rewards. Do not remain in one small place, content with being an ordinary person. Look upon great things and become a great man. For that reason, the first place you must go is the scholarly grove. Find a great scholar renowned throughout the land and stay by his side. You will surely learn something from him. After the scholarly grove, his master had ordered him to go to countless other places. Dian Hao cursed again. Damn you, master. Just how many places are you going to make me go? He began to stretch his limbs, his resolve hardening. I was planning on going straight home. Big brother should be fine. I will take care of everything and then return. Father, mother, please do not worry too much. What must be done, must be done. He bowed deeply before the cave. Just so you know, I am never coming back here again. You were making my life difficult right up to the very end. Wait, where the hell is this scholarly grove anyway? Not long after he left, the old man's spirit reappeared at the cave entrance. He stood there, a triumphant grin on his face, his eyes filled with satisfaction. You knave little fool. Did you really believe that if you did not go out and learn about the world, you would just wither away and die? There is no such martial art in this world. Haha. You were planning to just hide away at home for the rest of your life. Were not you? I could not let you do that. That is why I had to take such measures. You brat. This world is vast. And of course, I could not bear to see the martial arts I taught you go to waste. You rotten kid. Thanks to you, I was very happy. So you would better live a happy life, too. With that said, he slowly faded away, departing from the mortal realm. As Waihan walked on, he caught the faint scent of flowers. Asterisk, where did that come from? Asterisk, and just like that, time passed. One day in Kaifeng Prefecture, a gaunt Yan showed up asking, "Excuse me, is this the beggar's sect?" The man facing him was Zhang Yai, the local subsect leader. He eyed Yaihan suspiciously. Asterisk, what in the world is that smell? Asterisk, once Zhang Yi confirmed who he was, Waihan asked, "I am here to ask about something. I hear there is a fee." "Right," Zhang Yai drawled. "Of course you have to pay. Nothing in this world is free."
Good.
He squinted, sizing Yaihan up. Asterisk, his voice sounds like he is barely a teenager. But damn, he looks like he is over 50. This is the first time I have seen a beggar of this caliber. He looks less like a man and more like a freaking gull. With that thought, he spoke up. "Look, since you look like you are in the same business, I would love to cut you a deal. But we have got rules." Seeing Yaihan's confusion, he clarified. "You know, We are both beggars. Yihan snapped furiously. What part of me looks like a beggar? The reply was brutally blunt. Every single part. Bottom line. No money. No info. So beat it. Or go beg for some cash. Bring it back. An asterisk then asterisk we can talk. Yihan screamed in frustration. I already told you I am not a beggar. What the hell do you mean go beg? Zhang Yi looked at him dead serious and said, You do not beg because you are a beggar. You asterisk become asterisk a beggar because you beg. With a face like that, all you would have to do is put a bowl out, and you would be rolling in cash. Why let such a gift go to waste? He suddenly paused, grabbing Yihan's hands excitedly. How about we become business partners? And so, Yihan teamed up with him to beg. And believe it or not, he raked in a ton of cash. You know what they say? Sometimes the profession chooses the person. Man. They were not wrong. Staring at the pile of money, Zhang Yi was trembling with excitement. In just half a day, we have made enough to fund the entire subsect for 6 months. A living money god has descended. Ha! The beggars outside whispered in confusion. What is all the commotion about? Guess some legendary beggar must have shown up. Inside, Zhang Yi turned to him. All business. All right. What information do you need? Yihan immediately answered. A list of every renowned great scholar in the land, including their residence, hobbies, and skills. Yihan continued. And a list of every renowned blacksmith, their residence, hobbies, and skills. He went on like that, listing every single major profession in the land. Zhang Yi was floored. You want information on asterisk all asterisk of them? Well, a deal's a deal. I will get it for you. Come back in 7 days to pick it up. Yihan glanced over at him and snapped. Wait. I never said you could just lie around and do nothing. Yihan sighed. I have nowhere to go and nothing else to do. So I will just be staying here. Zhang Yi raised an eyebrow. You are going to stay asterisk here asterisk. Well, I suppose it is not out of the question. Fine. Whatever. A beggar rushed in, his face etched with panic. Subsect leader. We have got big trouble. Zhang Yi frowned, his voice full of irritation. What is all the damn noise about? What kind of big trouble can a bunch of beggars get into? The man hurriedly explained. Sir, our brothers in the sect. They are all about to starve to death. Hearing this, Zhang Yi looked completely baffled. What? Just then, a storm of insults could be heard from afar. Where the hell did you pathetic-looking beggars come from? Daring to beg here? Get the hell out of here. The beggar urged Zhang Yi. Sir, quick, come and see. It is over there. As the man led the way, Zhang Yi grumbled impatiently. What in the world is so important you had to cause such a scene? When they got there, Zhang Yi was stunned, his face contorting. A crowd was gathered on the street, still yelling. Hey, you lot. If you are gonna beg, at least have the decency to look the part like asterisk him asterisk. Yeah. At least try to look that pathetic. The object of their ridicule was Yihan. They were throwing money at him, their faces full of pity. I have lived a long life, but this is the first time I have ever seen someone so pitifully poor. Here, take this and go buy yourself a decent meal. Standing to the side, Zhang Yi's jaw was on the floor. Utterly speechless. Yihan, on the other hand, just smiled to himself, thinking, asterisk he, making money is a piece of cake, and so, Yihan's hostile takeover of the beggars sect officially began. Back at their headquarters, Yihan flopped onto the floor, whining, I am so thirsty. Zhang Yi immediately barked. Somebody, get some water over here. Yihan glanced at the bowl and sighed. Why is this bowl so filthy? Zhang Yi flew into a rage, beating his subordinate. I told you to bring a new bowl. You useless punk. Yihan kept complaining. This water's a little warm. Do not you think? Zhang Yi's fury intensified as he roared. I told you to go up the mountain and bring back some fresh, cold water. How many times do I have to repeat myself? Sprawled on the floor, Yihan just chuckled. This is the life. Zhang Yi glared at him, shaking with suppressed rage but not daring to say a word. He could only curse inwardly. Asterisk damn it to hell. I am a subsect leader of the Great Beggars sect, and now I am just a gopher for this damn beggar. But if I throw him out, my men will starve. When is the damn information this punk asked for finally going to get here? Asterisk. Just then, he heard Yihan complain about his back, and he immediately rushed over to massage him. Oh heavens. We can't have your back hurting, sir. At that very moment, a voice called from outside. Subsect leader. The information is here. Hearing that, Zhang Yi's face lit up like he would just hit the jackpot. The info was handed to Yahan, who glanced over it and asked, "This is everything. You actually charge money for this pathetic amount of information?" A confused Zhang Ye took the paper. "What are you talking about? Let me see that." As he read it, his face contorted. "Are those damn scumbags trying to starve my entire branch? What is this half-assed excuse for intelligence? This is unacceptable. I have to figure something out." Yihan sat up and said, "Was it because I did not give you enough money? Should I go earn some more?" Zhang Ye panicked and rushed to stop him, thinking, "I need a new plan before this damn beggar stirs up more trouble." He then led Yahan outside, saying fawningly, "A distinguished guest like you should not have to resort to begging. Please, come this way and enjoy the finer things." They came to a mysterious location. A woman's voice, sharp and probing, suddenly cut through the air. "Here to buy information." How strange. The infamous stray dog Zai, gracing my establishment with his presence. The voice belonged to Lady Guy, the Kafing branch master of the infamous intelligence agency. Xiaoman. Zhang Ai immediately cupped his fists in a formal, respectful greeting. "I pay my respects." Hall master. Behind him, Yihan was fixated on the nickname he would just heard. He snickered and started teasing Zhang Ye. "Your nickname is a stray dog. Sounds like a piece of garbage, does not it? Haha." In his heart, Zhang Yi wanted to pummel that damn Yihan into the ground. However, Zhang Yi swallowed his anger and turned to Lady Guy, stating firmly, "We need information." Seeing Zhang Yi just taking the abuse, Yihan doubled down, teasing him without mercy. Lady Guy watched them with clear amusement. She smiled and said, "Well, this is certainly a bizarre sight. A subsect leader from the Beggars sect coming to an intelligence organization like ours for information. Surely you know that the Xiaoman and the Beggars sect are like cats and dogs. So what is the real story here?" Zhang Ye quickly pointed a thumb at Yahan behind him and explained, "It is not the Beggars sect that needs the information. I am just here to bring you a client." Hearing his explanation, Lady Guy's face instantly darkened. She frowned and questioned, "Are you messing with me? So what if the request is not from the Beggars sect? The client is still one of your beggars, is not? Are you trying to mock the Xiaoman? Or are you trying to provoke us? Let me tell you something. We have no information to sell to the Beggars sect." While enjoying the banter, Yihan heard Lady Guy's harsh words, and his own expression turned serious. He said flatly, "But I am not a member of the Beggars sect." Lady Guy decisively turned her back, unwilling to continue the conversation. She warned them coldly, "If you keep playing games like this, I won't be so lenient. You should at least have some respect for both our organizations." Unfazed, Yihan shot back, "Isn't the Xiaoman supposed to be an intelligence organization? But you do not even know whether I am a member of the Beggars sect or not. And you have the nerve to sell information for a living. Talk about unprofessional. Seriously. So unprofessional." Hearing his taunts, a vein popped on Lady Guy's forehead. She whipped around, her eyes as sharp as daggers, and called out in a strained voice, "Wang." As soon as she got a response, she immediately asked about Yihan's identity. A low voice answered her. "Specific information about him is still unknown, but we know he is not a member of the Beggars sect." Hearing this, Lady Guy let out an exasperated sigh, while Yihan spread his arms and shrugged casually. "Can you sell us the information now?" Lady Guy let out a forced, bitter laugh, her smile dripping with anger. "What if I say no? I am pissed off now, so I am not selling. The two of you can get the hell out." Yihan was not angry at all. Instead, he smirked. "Business etiquette these days is pretty wild. I said I would pay for it, but the young lady absolutely refuses to sell. At this rate, the downfall of the Xiaoman is not too far off." Lady Guy spun around and snorted with contempt. "If you do not want your limbs chopped off, you would better watch your mouth." Yihan showed no fear, feigning surprise instead. "Did I say something wrong, madam?" Those two words, "madam," were the last straw, causing Lady Guy's fury to erupt. "Are you deliberately trying to insult the Xiaoman?" she roared. Yihan paid her no mind, still standing there casually, even whistling a carefree tune. Seeing his nonchalant attitude, she screamed, "Wang! Teach him a lesson." The assassin named Wang, hidden in the shadows, instantly appeared before Yihan with terrifying speed. Seeing Wang's attack aimed straight at Yihan, Zhang Yi cried out in terror, but to everyone's surprise, Yihan simply covered Zhang Yi's mouth with one hand, signaling him to get back. With his other hand, Yihan casually flicked Wang on the head, causing the assassin to collapse on the spot. Lady Guy and Zhang Yi were both frozen solid, completely stunned by what they had just witnessed. Wei Han had taken down a top-tier assassin with a single, feather-light tap, revealing his terrifying strength. Only then they realized he was a true martial arts master. Wei Han scratched his head, smiling sheepishly. Sorry about that. It is a habit of mine to fight back whenever someone tries to hit me. If you had given me a heads up before you lunged, I would have adjusted my strength a bit. Inwardly, Zhang Yi was reeling. I knew he was a martial artist, but even I could not follow that move just now. He is a complete monster. Wei Han let out a sigh, then muttered, "This is all that old man's fault." Lady Guy had snapped out of her shock. She faced Wei Han and bowed respectfully with cupped fists. "A great master has graced us with his presence. I was blind not to see it. Please forgive my offense." Wei Han looked at her, confused. "What are you talking about? Miss, haven't we been talking for a while now?" Lady Guy frowned, her eyes filled with suspicion. "But if that is the case, your reason for coming here does not seem to be very honorable. Does it?" Zhang Yi, being directly addressed, jumped in fright. He frantically waved his hands, trying to explain. "Hall Master Go. I do not know if you will believe me, but I swear I have no ill intentions. It is just that this man needs some information that the Beggars sect can't handle right now. So I took the liberty of coming here to ask for the Xiaoman's help." Lady Guy narrowed her eyes, her tone skeptical. "And that is why you brought him here. You led a ferocious tiger into my rabbit's den, and now you are telling me you just need a little help." While the two of them argued fiercely, Wei Han had already dragged the unconscious Wang to the back. He said nonchalantly, "You are injured, so go lie down and rest." After some consideration and scrutiny, Lady Guy finally adopted a serious expression. "Fine. I will temporarily trust the word of the Beggars, sect's subsect leader." Zhang Yi breathed a sigh of relief, cupping his fists and thanking her profusely. Lady Guy continued, her tone turning cold. "However, providing the information is another matter entirely. After all, it is an undeniable fact that he injured one of our people. My Xiaoman demands that he pay a price for that action." Wei Han asked quizzically. "What price?" She let out a sinister laugh, her eyes glinting with malice. "Once you step into the underworld, there is only one price. Blood for blood, a life for a life." As soon as she finished speaking, the four shadows, four dark figures, instantly appeared and surrounded Wei Han. Unconcerned, Wei Han teased, "You people here sure have interesting ways of making an entrance." Lady Guy looked straight at him, her expression more serious than ever. "I do not know what your purpose is, but since you have harmed one of my people, do not even think about leaving here alive." Wei Han replied with a sigh, his tone exasperated. "Seriously? I keep telling her, but she just won't listen. I told you it was not on purpose. He tried to hit me first, so I just unconsciously tapped him a little." Lady Guy's face twisted into a dark grimace. That damn bag of bones is so annoying." She then continued, "The way of the underworld is simple. If one hand is cut, we cut off both a hand and a foot. If we are slapped on the cheek, we carve out our opponent's cheek." Wei Han chuckled, making a sarcastic comparison. "Your way of doing things sounds like a bunch of kids fighting." Standing beside them, Zhang Yi's face was pale with tension. He quickly advised, "I told you to just shut your mouth." Lady Go ignored Zhang Yi and continued, "This time, we will be lenient. We will only carve out a piece of flesh from your face." Wei Han held up a hand, interrupting her. "Excuse me for cutting in, but where on my face am I supposed to have any flesh? I have not been eating well lately, so I am all skin and bones." Lady Guy was once again driven mad by him. She decisively ordered the four shadows to finish him off. Facing this dangerous situation, Wei Han just stood there scratching his head, a look of confusion on his face. "A moment ago you wanted to carve flesh off my face. Now you want to kill me. You are already raising the interest rate. Talk about compounding interest. That is terrifying." But the four shadows, fearsome assassins in the eyes of others, were nothing to Wei Han. No one saw how he moved. They only saw the four shadows and their weapons sent flying in all directions. Lady Guy was once again so shocked by him that her jaw hung open. Wei Han threatened them coldly, his voice echoing through the space. "None of you should move, because I do not want to kill anyone just yet." Zhang Yi was once again frozen in place by Wei Han's terrifying power. Completely motionless, Lady Guy was panicking internally. What is this horrifying aura? Is he? Wei Han continued, his voice tinged with contemplation. "My master once said that those who attack you twice will also attack a third and fourth time, so you must never leave any loose ends. Though I hate that old geezer, I have to admit he has never been wrong. Hearing this, Lady Guy's heart pounded in her chest. Asterisk, I have messed with the wrong person. This man is absolutely not an existence the Axiomen can handle. I have to stay calm. One wrong move and the Axiomen's Kaifeng branch might just disappear today. With this thought, she cleared her throat, trying to maintain her composure, and asked, "What do you want? I mean, what information?" Zhang Yai immediately stepped forward, holding out the paper in his hand. "You see this paper in my hand? There are a lot of blank spots. Just fill them in." Lady Guy took the paper, finding it incredibly hard to believe. Asterisk, that is it. That bastard brought a monster like this to the Xiaoman, just because he could not handle this. Asterisk, after a moment's thought, she said, "This is not difficult. But I will need some time to find the information. Can you wait?" Upon receiving Yahan's nod of agreement, she breathed a sigh of relief. "Then please wait a moment. And you, subsect leader of the Kaifeng Beggars sect, would you mind coming with me for a moment?" After a short while, Zhang Yai returned to Yahan's side. The moment he saw him, Yahan burst out laughing. "Your face is swollen like a steamed bun. Did you get beaten up?" "Ho ho. The beggar's sect's reputation really is nothing to brag about. Letting the Xiaoman beat you into a pulp like that." Zhang Yai pointed a shaky finger at Yahan and yelled, "That woman is not just some ordinary subordinate of the Xiaoman. She is the daughter of the Xiaoman's master, the next successor of the sect. She grew up eating spiritual herbs for breakfast and chewing on spiritual pills like they were candy. How was I supposed to fight against her?" Just then, Lady Guy appeared behind him. "I have brought the information you requested." Zhang Yai jumped back startled, while Yahan cheerfully stood up and cupped his hands in thanks. The three of them sat down at a table to talk business. "We have our own principles. You know." Seeing Yahan's confused look, Zhang Yai reminded him, "That is the information fee." Yahan, finally getting it, asked, "How much?" Lady Guy stated the number firmly. 5,000 taels. Yahan held out 5 copper coins. "It is nothing. Take it." Zhang Yai quickly corrected him. "Silver taels. She means silver taels." Yahan was taken aback. "What? Why is the information fee so expensive?" Lady Guy explained. "It includes top-tier intelligence. So the price is a bit high." Yahan sighed. "Well, I guess it can't be helped." As Yahan stood up to leave, Zhang Yai asked, "Where are you going?" Yahan replied, "I do not have any silver, so I have to go earn some." "Where else?" Zhang Yai scrambled to grab his leg. "You can't. Why do you think I brought you here in the first place?" Yahan was confused. "Then what do you want me to do?" Zhang Yai desperately tried to stop Yahan from going out to beg on the streets. In the end, Zhang Yai had to empty out all the money Yahan had earned earlier, along with his own secret stash of cash. For the remaining amount, he wrote a neo to scrape together the full 5,000 taels. Seeing Zhang Yai weeping pathetically, Yahan asked, "A stray dog, are you crying?" Zhang Yai wailed, "You cleaned out my entire secret fund, and you have the nerve to ask me that?" Yahan read the information intently, remarking, "So detailed. A world apart from the info those beggars gathered. The Xiaoman's class is truly different." "I also want to send a letter to Guangdong," Lady Guy asked. "Is the fee expensive?" Yahan replied, "It will be more expensive than a security escort service, but in exchange, you just have to answer a few of my questions. Consider it payment for the delivery fee." She began by asking for Yahan's name and age. When she learned he was only 17, Zhang Yi was shocked. "What? You are younger than me." Lady Guy also broke into a cold sweat, thinking, asterisk, to have such martial arts skill at only 17. Asterisk. Then, she suddenly remembered. Guangdong's Ruan Hao. "Could you be the 5th young master of the Guangdong Ruan family?" Yahan was surprised. "You know me?" Lady Guy explained. "How could we not? The Guangdong Ruan family commissioned us to find their young master." Zhang Yi was also astonished. "The 5th master of the Guangdong Ruan family? Ruan Yahan. You are Ruan Shanhao's younger brother." Yahan was surprised again. "You know my older brother too?" Zhang Yai yelled. "Of course. We are friends." Lady Guy continued. "You want to send this letter to the Guangdong Ruan family? It will take at least 10 days for it to arrive." Yahan nodded. "That is fine. I have already waited 5 years. What is another 10 days? She then offered him an item and said, "Please accept this. This is a token that signifies you have become a distinguished guest of the Xiaoman. Just hang it where you are staying, and our intelligence agents will find their way to you." A thought flashed through the girl's mind. Asterisk, a boy of only 17 who can overwhelm both Wying and the 4 shadows in a single move. In the entire Central Plains right now. Surely no one can match his monstrous strength. Establishing a good relationship with him certainly won't do any harm. He took the piece of cloth and asked curiously, Will I get a discount every time I use this? The girl quickly replied. That is not how it works. Sir. Waihan sighed. Then it is useless. She quickly cut in. Since you put it that way. Next time. And only next time. I will not charge you an information fee. This is a special privilege I am granting only to you. I do not want the relationship between the Xiaoman and yourself to become strained, because of the recent misunderstandings. Waihan chuckled. What is the big deal that you have to say all that? Standing beside him. Zhang Yi's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Asterisk I came here. Got my secret stash cleaned out. And even got a black eye. And you can still say that. Asterisk. Waihan laughed to himself. Asterisk it is just another Tuesday. What do you expect? A stray dog. Asterisk Zhang Yi roared. I told you that is not my name. Afterwards. The two left the Xiaoman. Hearing Zhang Yi whine endlessly about money, Waihan glanced at him and sighed. Money comes and goes. It is there one day. Gone the next. Besides. A beggar like you should not be so greedy. You should live according to your station. Inwardly. Zhang fumed. Asterisk that bastard acts like my sworn enemy. But I can't even kill him right now. He decided to change the subject. Anyway. You got all the information you needed. Right. I guess you have no more business in cafing then. But surprisingly, Waihan grabbed his shoulder. Hold on. I still have a small problem. I am completely out of travel money. A vein popped on Zhang Yi's forehead. Unable to curse him out loud. He could only look up at the sky and scream. Damn it all. Inside the Xiaoman, Lady Guy stood on the highest floor. Watching them. After a moment. She spoke. Wang. Immediately send word to the main sect. Tell them the missing second young master of the Guangdong Ruin family has returned as a master. The scene shifts to the Hanlin Academy's Songlan Great Hall. Violet. A man sat admiring the view and enjoying tea. This was the Triple Crown Great Scholar. Wen Xiaohuan. As he sipped his tea, he mentioned the Juchong festival. Just then, a young woman approached from behind. Father, we have a visitor. This woman was his daughter. When in she? He asked quizzically. I do not have any appointments today. Do I? She explained. The person said he wishes to have a hand talk with you. Hearing this, his face lit up with joy. Hand talk meant playing Go, a game he adored. A short while later, Inchi returned. I have brought the guest. Father, the person who had come to see him was none other than Waihan. Still looking disheveled. He asked. I hope my sudden visit is not an inconvenience to you. Sir. The man quickly invited him in. How could it be an inconvenience? Receiving guests at my home is one of the simple pleasures for a scholar like me. You truly wish to have a hand talk with me. Waihan sat down opposite him and confirmed. Yep. Because that is the only thing I know. Wen Xiaohuan smiled brightly and nodded slowly. Wonderful. Then let us have a game. I shall take the white stones. If you please, you may go first. Young friend, Waihan did not hesitate. Quickly picking up a stone. His voice full of excitement. Then I shall not stand on ceremony. Watching the young man's somewhat clumsy and eager grip on the stone, Wen Xiaohuan could not help but feel a pang of disappointment. Judging by his form, I probably should not expect much from his Go skills. He is more likely here looking for a warm meal. Well, I will just play a perfunctory game with him and then find a way to help him out. However, a moment later, Waihan placed his first stone with intense focus. This concentrated and decisive manner surprised Wen Xiaohuan slightly. Asterisk this is no beginner. Very well. Let us see just how talented you are. After a few moves back and forth, Wen Xiaohuan fell into deep thought. Asterisk is he a speed Go player? His mastery of this style is completely at odds with his young age. As they continued their match, more and more sweat beaded on Wen Xiaohuan's forehead. The hand holding his stone began to tremble with hesitation. Asterisk what in the world is this? Asterisk this is no longer the level of a speed Go player. This is a war demon. War demon refers to a player with a fierce, terrifying, and ruthless style. Like a demon on a battlefield. Seeing his opponent hesitate, Waihan smiled and asked, Are you not going to make a move? Sir. Wen Xiaohuan stared intently at the board, marveling to himself. Asterisk incredible. Asterisk his momentum is like a relentless, surging wave. Even though we are not in a real life or death battle, he attacks with such ferocity. Like a man crazed by war, the moment he spots the smallest opening, he lunges in to savagely tear his opponent apart like a starving gull. This is truly a war demon. At this point, he cupped his fists, his voice filled with admiration. That was truly an outstanding match. Young friend, you possess a very unique style. Waihan replied modestly. You are too kind. Sir. It is all thanks to a terrible master who frequently tortured me. Hearing this, Wing Saowen was a bit surprised. You have a master. Memories of his days in the cave flashed through Ihan's mind. His master's voice echoing. If you lose, 10 times the training. If you get 3 days off. Recalling this, he sighed softly. Yep, sir. My master is an incredibly strict old man. If you do not mind, I would very much like to stay here for a while. My master instructed me to do so. He told me to try living in the scholarly forest for a time to learn about the world and gain experience. When Sao Huan's eyes lit up in understanding. So you are following your master's instructions. In that case, of course I must help you. I will arrange for a proper, clean room for you. Please feel at ease and stay here for as long as you like. He then turned to his daughter. Inchi. Please prepare a room and clothes for our esteemed guest. That is right. First, please show our guest to the bath. Ihan quickly waved his hands. But sir, I do not have any money. When Sao Huan let out a hearty laugh. How could I possibly expect material things from guests who visit this place? In fact, if you had not asked, I was about to invite you to stay myself. In return, I only hope that you will occasionally join me or other visitors for a few games of Go to pass the time. Waihan scratched his face and nodded reluctantly. I think I can manage that. Then I will follow you. Inchi then signaled for the young man to follow her. Soon after, Yaihan was soaking in a warm bath. His whole body relaxed. *Ah. This feels amazing. I used to hate bathing the most. But why does the water here feel so good? Is it the quality of the water? Or has my skin actually gotten better? This is all your fault. You damned old geezer. That I am so happy I could cry right now. A little later, Inchi returned with a set of fresh clothes. She was still bewildered. I really can't understand why father would accept someone like him as a guest in our manor. At that exact moment, Ihan unexpectedly stepped out of the bath. Completely naked, the girl let out a terrified shriek. Inchi quickly thrust the clothes at him. I thought you were a ghost. Please cover yourself. Yaihan took the clothes, still looking dazed and confused. Inchi snuck a peek at him, her cheeks flushing red. After cleaning up, he was actually quite handsome. And he had a well-built, toned body with a clear six-pack. After covering his lower half, he glanced at her and asked, Is this better? Inchi blurted out. Who are you? In the blink of an eye. Several days had passed. Inchi rushed to her father, her voice filled with frustration. Father, could you please talk to that man? The one who just arrived at the manor. Ever since he got here, he has not stepped out of his room. Besides waking up to eat the meals brought to him, he just sleeps all day. It has been 7 days and 7 nights. And that is all he has done. When Sao Huan listened, seemingly lost in thought. Now that you mention it, I have not even asked for his name. Inchi continued to complain. Father, did not you always teach us that laziness is a sin? You always reminded us to live diligently and work hard. So why are not you scolding him for his laziness? Even if he is a guest, his presence is making the atmosphere in the manor unbearably awful. He replied gently. Inchi, your father loves to play Go. Because when playing Go, one can understand their opponent. Words can be chosen. Expressions can be hidden. But one's aura cannot be concealed. An impatient person cannot play a leisurely game. And a leisurely person cannot enjoy a fierce battle. A person's life and character are fully revealed through their aura. As his aura is incredibly violent and explosive. I have never seen anyone with such an extreme aura. From this, I can deduce that he is by no means a lazy or idle person. Perhaps he has lived a life so arduous and harsh that we cannot even imagine it. The brighter the sun, the darker the shadow. If he appears lazy, it only means his previous life was incredibly difficult. No one would chase away a bird seeking shelter from the rain under the eaves. Nor would they ask why it does not fly through the storm. Can't you let him rest for a little longer? After hearing this, Inchi could only sigh. I understand, Father. Although she said that, she thought differently in her heart. When she arrived at Yaihan's room, she could not hold back her thoughts. Father is definitely being fooled by him. A lazy bum like this could never be the hidden dragon he speaks of. I have to kick him out. One way or another, she walked over and called for him to wake up. Yaihan turned over and asked, What is the matter? Angrily. She pulled up the blanket. I said get up. The sun is already at its peak. He reluctantly sat up. Why did not you wait until the sun set to wake me up? She snapped irritably. What kind of person are you? How can you laze around for 7 days and 7 nights in a place where everyone is studying diligently? He glanced at her and replied nonchalantly. You all study because you want to study. And I sleep because I want to sleep. Is there a problem? Her anger grew. And she yelled, "Stop talking nonsense." Even if that were not the reason. I can't stand the sight of you rolling around in bed for 7 days and 7 nights without bathing. Who do you think has to wash those sheets? You may not know this, but our situation here is not that great. If you were a scholar, I could understand. But this place does not have enough rice to feed a freeloader. He looked confused. That can't be right. Your father clearly before he could finish. She cut him off. I am the one who manages the finances here. Yanhao lets out a sigh. What exactly do you want me to do now? She leads him outside and points to a massive pile of laundry. Just wash all of this, and we will call it even. He glances over at the mountain of clothes. You want me to wash all of this? Is this seriously the price for one meal? What the hell? Did I eat a meal made of solid gold or something? Anji just turns away with a smug grin. Well, it is all on you now. And make sure they are spotless. If I find a single dirty spot, I am making you do it all over again. So you better be thorough. As she walks away, she thinks triumphantly. Go on. Get a taste of suffering. There is absolutely no way he can finish all that in one day, but just 1 hour later. She is left speechless when she sees everything perfectly clean and already hanging up to dry. She can't believe her eyes. How in the world did you wash all of this already? Wait, was that blanket always this color? Seriously. How did you pull this off? No way. I can't let him get off this easy. Thinking just you wait. She immediately leads him to the woodshed. He stares at the mountain of logs before him and asks, "You want me to chop all of this firewood?" She flashes a wicked grin in response. "I will give you a week." "You think you can handle that?" She sneered inwardly. *1 week. Please. I will give him less than a day before he tucks his tail and runs. But when she came back to check on him, she found him fast asleep on the pile of firewood. Having finished everything. What in the world is going on? This is a workload that would take 10 able-bodied men 10 days to finish. And it was the same with everything else: washing the dishes, sweeping the courtyard, all of it. And she gritted her teeth in fury. How could he possibly handle all of this so easily? The Grand Scholar's decision to allow Yanhao into the estate was a terrible mistake. He never should have been allowed to stay in this place. Hearing this, the young boy looked confused and asked, "Why would you say that, miss?" The storyteller explains slowly. "Because I can guarantee you, wherever that man goes, disaster follows. It may not be his intention, but chaos is sure to erupt in his wake, and this academy was no exception. Ever since Yanhao showed up, our once peaceful halls have been thrown into a whirlwind of chaos." The boy, still confused, asks, "What exactly happened?" The storyteller replies grimly, "It all started with a few games of Go. One day, Yanhao sits at a Go board, thinking to himself, how the hell did I get roped into this? At first, I thought guests were just coming to the estate for a friendly game of Go. But outside, a massive line of people has formed, all buzzing with excitement. Looks like everyone got the invitation. For the Grand Scholar himself to send out invitations. This player must have a truly unique style. I was curious too. So I rushed right over to check it out. A game piece left untouched will eventually rot away. The board is set, waiting for its master. The time has come. I invite you all to visit and partake in the discussion." But when people witnessed Yanhao's style, they were all blown away. How can a playstyle be so overwhelmingly dominant? He does not give his opponents a single opening. Before long, the Hanlem Academy had a new legend. The Go Saint. Countless master players were forced to admit defeat, completely and utterly outplayed. But Yanhao was miserable, because he was trying to throw the games, just so people would stop challenging him to one-on-ones. Why are even more people showing up to challenge me? He groans internally. At this point, I would rather be doing laundry. There are so many people, and my back is killing me. Suddenly, a loud shout snaps him out of it. I told you, I am not interested. Yanhao immediately turns to watch the drama unfold. A big, rich-looking dude is trying to pressure Eunji into marrying him. This guy is Mokpong, but Eunji is standing her ground. You do not have a snowball's chance in hell. His eyes turn cold and menacing. You are going to regret this. I suggest you reconsider. Because I never fail to get what I want. Whatever I desire, I take, by any means necessary. Right now, I am asking nicely. But if you keep refusing me, next time, it won't be a request. Are you really willing to let the entire Hanlem Grand Academy, with its glorious history, fall to ruin just because of your stubbornness? But Eunji is not backing down. Go ahead and try. The academy won't crumble that easily. He keeps pressing the issue, which only makes Eunji angrier. She finally snaps, I hate arrogant jerks like you the most. You act like you own the world, so listen up and listen good. I will never marry you. With that, she turns to storm off, but he grabs her wrist, stopping her in her tracks. She screams, let go me. Veins bulge on Mokpong's forehead. You should not have provoked me. Then, with a twisted, predatory grin, he threatens, let us see how arrogant you are after I make you mine right here. Right now, Inji's entire body starts to tremble in fear. But just then, a calm voice cuts in. That is no way for a guest to behave. Unji seizes the opportunity to pull her hand away, then immediately turns on Yan Hao. Have you finished the laundry yet? He notices her hand is shaking from the pain, borrows her hair tie, and with a deathly cold stare, walks right up to Mokpong. This clearly pisses Mokpong off. Don't you know it is rude to eavesdrop? Yan Hao gets right in his face and replies coolly, for a pig-faced bastard. You actually dress pretty well. But you still dare to bark at me. Mokpong's eyes widen in recognition. You are the Hanlim Go Saint, the new rising star everyone's talking about. Yan Hao's expression remains ice cold. And you are. Just as he starts to introduce himself, Yan Hao cuts him off. Actually, on second thought, I do not give a damn who you are. This drives the big guy absolutely insane, making him want to throw down right then and there. Just then, the crowd of Go players recognizes him as a member of the powerful Luck family and asks for a match tomorrow, forcing Mokpong to back down for now. But before he leaves, he does not forget a parting threat. You have 3 days. If you do not come find me, I will handle this my own way. Only then does he turn to Unji. Who was that guy? Acting like such a big shot. She explains. That is Luck Mokpong. He is the adopted son of the eunuch Lucky, the man who pulls all the strings in the royal court. He asks curiously. So what does he want with you? Unji answers sheepishly. He wants me to marry him. I have told him no a million times. But he just won't give up. It is so annoying. Yan Hao starts to tease her. He does not seem so bad. He is powerful. And he seems pretty devoted to you. Yan Jie explodes. Are you kidding me? He does not want to marry me because he likes me. He just wants to use me. Then she explains. You might not know this, but my father is highly respected among the Confucian scholars. He is even said to have the makings of a prime minister. Despite that, he prefers a life of seclusion, far from the world of politics. That is because the eunuchs who manipulate the royal court despise my father. The Hanlim Academy is independent, so building it up was incredibly difficult. But that also allowed it to form deep connections with many powerful factions. Everyone knows the eunuchs are corrupt, but no one can ask them because the scholar factions can't unite against them. But if my father took an official post and united the scholars, the eunuch's power would be threatened. That is why Duke Luck is doing everything in his power to keep my father out of the political arena. And recently, he found the perfect way to do it, by forcing me to marry Luck Mokpong. Meanwhile, Mokpong is kneeling before his father. Forgive me, father. A new variable has appeared at the Hanlim Academy. A man called the Go Saint. The marriage proposal has become complicated. The eunuch, Lucky, a man with a surprisingly powerful build, scoffs. He is just a nobody with no clan and no backing. His subordinate explains. He himself is not the problem, sir. But masters from all over the land are flocking to the academy just to play against him. There are too many eyes on us now, which severely limits our movements. If we make a careless move, I fear it will backfire spectacularly. He explains. Sweating bullets. Lucky understands. But his tone turns menacing. Do you think this mission is merely for my own safety? Controlling the royal family is an order from *him**. If you fail, all of you will die. His eyes gleam with malice as he gives the order. If there are too many powerful players involved, then use them. Kill them all. That Go Saint is no exception. The next day, at the Hanlim Academy, King Li arrives to meet with the Grand Scholar. Are you still refusing to enter the world of politics? The king asks. The scholar replies calmly. I must ask for your forgiveness. King Li presses him. Why can't you see that you are the only one who can maintain balance in the court and stop Lucky from seizing total control? Listen to me, Grand Scholar Yu. Their recent movements have been unusual. His eyes turn dangerous. Even within the military and among the scholars, there are signs of disloyalty. Lucky is trying to destabilize us. The Grand Scholar is puzzled. Why would a eunuch with no hair want to start a rebellion? The royal censor explains. Because of the one pulling his strings from the shadows, the power struggles between eunuchs are more brutal than you can imagine. And yet look, who came from nothing, wiped out his rivals and climbed to where he is today. His rivals died in accidents, and even those who did not oppose him would suddenly fall ill and perish. It is as if someone was clearing a path for him. That is why I am certain someone powerful is backing him. And why I need you to lead the scholars against them. Yu Huang asks for more time to think. And the censor does not push. Changing the subject. Tell me about this new talent of yours. At this, Yu Huang's face lights up with pride. He is truly extraordinary. Hearing this makes King Li curious, wanting to meet him at once. On command, Yan Hao is summoned. But his soaking wet appearance makes everyone wonder. Wait, it is not even raining. Yu Huang walks over. Did you sleep well? Yan Hao replies. I slept great. Right up until your daughter threw a basin of water in my face. Yu Huang then introduces the royal censor. He does not want to reveal his identity, simply saying he is a curious old man passing by who wishes to play a game of Go with him. Yan Hao flat out refuses. Sorry. But there is a long line of people who've been waiting their turn. You just got here, so you can't cut in front. King Li laughs. I have a solution for that. I will just ask the others for their permission, but our boy is not having it. That is not asking. That is forcing them. The King Li is left speechless. Yan Hao sizes him up. Looking at you. You must hold a high position. So if you ask, they will have to yield. But they won't be happy about it. It might not look like much. But I have my own principles and promises to keep. King Li's face darkens. Thinking. This kid is stubborn. Are there no exceptions? But Yan Hao remains firm. Just then, Inji speaks up. Perhaps I have a solution. She gently places a hand on his shoulder. All the Go matches scheduled for today, including this one, are now cancelled. Hearing that, Yan Hao panics. What? Are you serious? Unji stands her ground. If you want a day off, then stop messing around. Finally, he has no choice but to agree. The king, seeing this, starts to doubt his high opinion of Yan Hao, wanting to use the game to see what kind of man he truly is. By nightfall, the old man is still sitting motionless at the Go board, lost in thought. Yu Huang approaches him. Why are you still sitting here? My lord. He strokes his beard, deep in thought. A soul-shattering, fluid style of play. This is a strategy you would be hard-pressed to find even on a battlefield. What in the world has this boy been through? His fierce style on the board. His lazy demeanor in person. Neither of these fit the kind of talent I am looking for. The king finally speaks. I do not understand why you value him so highly, the other man replies. Because I saw it with my own eyes. During our game. There was a moment where I made a brilliant move. I thought the game was over. So I looked up from the board. And I looked at him, and I saw it. The look of no self in his eyes. The kind of look you only see in those who have achieved complete and total immersion. It is incredibly rare. The king asked. Are you sure you were not mistaken? The answer is firm. I am absolutely certain. But the king is unconvinced and starts to walk away. Regardless. I have no intention of using a man like that. He looks up at the moon and sighs. What a shame. On such a perfect night. There is nothing to be sad about. But just then, figures appear in the darkness. It is Mokpong and his squad of assassins. On his command, they all attack, storming straight into the Hanlam Academy. The guards turn around. But it is too late. Struck down before they can even react, countless servants are slaughtered, including the Go masters who came to challenge our hero. With a wave of his hand, Mokpong shouts, capture them all. Not even a mouse gets out of here tonight. Meanwhile, our boy is sleeping soundly, completely oblivious to the chaos unfolding outside. The memory of Unji's rejection that day only fuels Mokpong's rage. In note, everyone has been captured and tied up by the assassins. Yu Huang demands. What is the meaning of this? The fat bastard explains. We received a tip that there was suspicious activity within the Hanlam Academy. Powerful figures have been gathering here. You are planning a rebellion. Are not you? Yu Huang explodes in anger. We were just here to play Go. But the goon is determined to frame them. And I am supposed to believe all of you gathered here, just for a simple game of Go. He gives them no chance to explain. Mokpong turns to a subordinate and asks, where is he? But the answer is not what he wanted to hear. There is no one else in the academy. Sir. He must have escaped earlier. The bastard. He then addresses the captives. In any case, if you nobles are innocent, you will be released soon enough. Once we have searched the academy, if we find nothing, you will all be set free with compensation. Just then, a soldier shouts, Sir, we found something. It is a joint pledge signed by the rebels. Everyone immediately cries out, that is impossible. We have never heard of such a thing. But the fat pig shoves the fake evidence in their faces to force a confession. It is obvious this is a trap they have set themselves. For a bunch of Go players. These guys are slow on the uptake. They all start screaming, we are not traitors. Just then, the king stands up from the crowd and roars. Look, Pong. You have put on quite a show. I am the royal censor. King Li. A wave of relief washes over the crowd. It is the king. We are saved. Mokpong quickly bows respectfully. If I had known the royal censor himself was gracing us with his presence, we would have never acted so rashly. The king tells him to untee him, but Mokpong's attitude does not change. First, tell me, why were you plotting a rebellion? This makes the old man break out in a cold sweat. Mokpong lets out a sinister laugh. Did you really think I did not know you were here? Two of his men immediately forced the king to the ground. Every rebellion needs a leader. The Hanlum Academy could never be the mastermind. It must be you. King Li. You are the ringleader. The old king roars in fury. Do you think you can get away with this? I will make sure not a single one of you survives. Mokpong replies coldly. You are mistaken. You won't be reporting anything to His Majesty. Because you will never see him again. He points at them and screams. The punishment for treason is immediate execution. All of you will die here, in this rundown academy. You and all these nobles were caught with a signed pledge, plotting a rebellion. What do you think His Majesty will believe when he hears the news? In the eyes of the world, this is undeniable proof of your treason. The king screams in rage, but he is powerless. Mokpong then turns to Yunji. I warned you that I would decide how this ends. This is the price for rejecting me. And everyone else here will die. He grabs her with his filthy hands. Unji spits right in his face. She says defiantly, I would rather die here than marry a disgusting man like you. Hearing those words, his face twists into an even more depraved smile. Don't worry. I am not going to kill you. I am going to make you wish you were dead. She threatens to end her own life, but he just laughs. If you do that, then your father will take your place. And if he does the same, someone else will take his. The crime of treason wipes out the entire clan. None of you can escape, so go ahead. Do it. Haha. He grabs a fistful of her hair and yanks it back brutally. Yu Wang watches, burning with helpless rage. With a sickening expression, the creep caresses her cheek in her desperation. Yanjie. Somebody. Please. Help me. Just then, her expression changes as she spots something in the distance. A figure clumsily trying to climb over the wall to escape. His technique is hilariously unprofessional. Unji immediately yells. Guyanhao. This startles him, and he turns back, sweating profusely. Haha. What is with the big party here? Yanji is fuming. What the hell do you think you are doing? He replies nonchalantly. Running away. Obviously. You dare to just openly admit you are running away. So what? What is wrong with admitting I am running away? What? You think I am too classy to just say it? You want me to say I am using one of the 36 stratagems to make you feel better. You know martial arts. You are supposed to help us. He waves his hand dismissively. If I try to fight with my crappy skills, I will just get myself killed faster. In a situation like this, playing dumb is the best strategy. Fear death and you will live a long life. Have not you heard? You guys just carry on. Don't mind me. The three old men are speechless. This kid is absolutely shameless, but Mokpong is not letting him go. Stop right there. He bellows. You are involved in a plot of treason that will wipe out your entire clan. Where do you think you can run? Yanhao just shrugs. Won't know till I try. Ignoring the threats, he waves goodbye. See you later. The fatso is furious and orders. Get him. Two assassins immediately charge at him with swords drawn. The situation turns critical. Yin dreams? Run. Which just confuses our hero. A second ago you wanted me to save you. Now you are telling me to run. What do you want? Women are so confusing. An assassin swings his sword, but in a flash, Yanha vanishes, leaving only an afterimage. Then, with a single, effortless move, he takes the guy down. He strikes a cool pose while the other guy is face planting into the dirt. Everyone who saw it is completely stunned. What just happened? Mokpong speaks up. The little brat has some skills after all. Yanhao gives a sheepish reply. Thanks for the compliment. This just pisses the other guy off more. That was not a compliment, he orders. Henchinjniate. Take care of him. Don't kill him. I want to tear that little punk apart myself. Just as Heck Nut is about to attack, Yanhao stops him. Whoa. Hold on. I need to get my sword. Can you wait a minute? I think I left it in my room. Seeing the assassin's impatience, he starts guilt-tripping him. Come on, man. You are a grown-up. Are you really going to get upset over a kid grabbing his sword? Just 5 years ago, the world was not this heartless. I do not get how people have become so cruel. He then glances over at a broom, confusing his opponent. With no sword, Yanhao can only grab a broom to fight. This makes the assassin's face darken even more. Are you looking down on me? You are the one who would not let me go get my sword. The assassin gets into a fighting stance, not forgetting to threaten him. I am going to make you wish you were dead. Seeing him talk so much. Yanho yawned. Hurry up and fight. You are making me sleepy. This just makes the guy's face contort with rage. Realizing he is dealing with a master troll, he lunges forward in a flash. His face full of confidence. But a second later, that confident face gets completely rearranged. Our hero casually swats him away with nothing but a cleaning broom with just one hit. The guy is out cold on the ground, unable to move. Everyone watching is horrified, breaking out in a cold sweat. Yanho lightly brandishes the broom. Figures. When you are dealing with trash, a broom is the most appropriate tool. And Night wakes up, completely bewildered about what just happened. Yanho points the broom at him. Are you an idiot? Charging straight in like that. You are supposed to size up your opponent first. Hearing that, the assassin flies into a rage and charges again, only to get smacked around once more. I literally just explained it to you, and you are still not listening. The guy thinks to himself, how is he so fast? Before quickly backing away, he pulls something out from his robes. As much as I hate to admit it, it is hard to believe, but this kid is definitely not all talk. However, in a real fight, the stronger one does not always win. He pulls out a poison-laced dagger, but Yanho spots it immediately. Dude. Fighting dirty. Seriously. But that is not going to work on me. In the blink of an eye, Yanho closes the distance, terrifying him. What is this speed? With a loud crack, the poisoned dagger is knocked out of his hand. Then, Yanho delivers a flurry of 49 headshots, and the guy collapses to the ground. Out cold. Everyone who witnessed it is in shock. They never knew the Ghost Saint was this powerful. The fatso's face has gone pale. Impossible. He took down Hexit that easily. That is the leader of the Dark Shadow group. The one my adoptive father spent decades training. Yanho suggests, if you back off now, things will be much easier for both of us. But to everyone's surprise, the guy starts clapping. To have such martial arts at your age. You are incredible. Yanho's face starts to light up. You are damn right I am. This makes Unji furious. What are you so happy about? He replies innocently. He is complimenting me, Mok Pong. Thinking he has got him, says, just being able to meet a martial artist of your caliber is worth everything that has happened tonight. Jo my sight. And I will give you things you can't even imagine. I will give you the power to hold the entire world in your hands, and a fortune beyond your wildest dreams. Yanho's face turns serious. Do you really think I would be swayed by such words? Inji's heart soars, ready to praise him for his integrity. Then Yanho does a complete 180, his face lighting up with greed. Could you give me a specific number? Unji's face contorts in rage, veins popping on her forehead as she screams. Yanho. You're dead. The king is just as shocked. What are you saying? Are power and money that important to you? He gets a unified answer from the other two. Of course they are. With money, you can even buy your way into heaven. Old man. The king is dumbfounded. Well, I guess they are important. But how much power and wealth can he really give you? Just let this king bestow them upon you instead. This catches our hero's attention, and the fatso scoffs. What do you think he can give you? He may be royalty, but he has given up all his glory. The best he can do is get you a spot in the royal censorate. But my adoptive father is different. He can grant you a massive fortune and power that will make everyone jealous. Yanho turns back to the king with a disappointed look. Seems like you are not that rich after all. His words hit a sore spot. That is true. Yu Huang steps in to argue. Helping a villain plot treason versus foiling a real rebellion. How can you even compare the two? Did your master not teach you about righteousness? The old man is sweating, thinking. The way he keeps mentioning his master. He must take his master's words as gospel, and no master would ever teach a student to do wrong. Surely. He must have taught him things that will benefit our cause. Yanho quickly replies. My master taught me that money can buy you a fairy to cuddle with, so I should just pick whichever side has more cash. This answer leaves the two old men completely floored. Whether you talk about principles or honor, that is all just empty talk. It can't feed you. Cold, hard cash is what matters most. My master even told me not to live an honest life. If you get a chance to rake it in, you rake in as much as you can. That is the real truth. Yu Wang is speechless. What kind of crazy master is this? Seeing his chance, Mok Pong makes his move. Deals on the table. Jo my team. Will you serve my adoptive father? Hearing the word serve, Yanho's face changes. Wait. I still have to work. Unji quickly chimes in. I won't make you do anything. I will provide you with gourmet food, and let you rest in a first-class room all day long. The fatso makes a counteroffer. If you do not want to, you do not have to do a thing. Of course. The promised reward will still be yours. Yanhao gets right up in his face and praises him. Young master. You truly have the spirit of a great man. The other guy beams. Haha. I am nothing compared to you. Young hero. The three old men are thinking. Is this some kind of comedy routine? The fatso then gives him his first task. First, kill everyone here. They are criminals plotting a rebellion. Execution of their entire clan is the sentence they deserve. Yunji is furious when she hears this. Our hero innocently asks. Why did you guys start a rebellion? You even have all the evidence right here. He scratches his head and looks at the fatso. Well, I've never killed anyone before. The guy holds out his sword. Then let me give you this. He even spouts some nonsense about justice. I never wanted to get my hands dirty. But the law is the law. It must be upheld. He raises the sword and aims it at Yu Wang. Eunji cries out in fear. Father. Well, her father silently apologizes for getting her involved. Suddenly, the sword is stopped by Yanhao's bare hands. All right. That is enough. The fatso thinks to himself. This kid is strong. He says out loud. Didn't we just make a deal? Yanhao replies. I like taking it easy. But if they die, I will feel really bad. Besides, my master once told me that a debt of gratitude must be repaid before it accrues 20 times the interest. It is time for me to repay this debt. As soon as he says this, the three old men are overjoyed. I knew I was not wrong about you. But Mok Pong just starts laughing maniacally. You think I am afraid of you? He unleashes a powerful aura and roars. Anyone I want dead will absolutely die. Consider it an honor to fall by my hand. He unleashes his palm technique, and countless giant hands fly towards our hero. The sheer pressure terrifies everyone watching. But before their eyes, Yanhao seems to phase in and out of existence, dodging the attack as smoothly as a superstar. Mok Pong is terrified by this sight. How is that possible? Then he gets sent flying with a kick that makes him spin for dozens of rotations. Everyone is stunned, unable to believe their eyes. Is he dead? Mok Pong is on his hands and knees, heavily injured. When our hero threatens to hit him again, he breaks out in a cold sweat and yells. Let us just pretend this never happened. The whole group is stunned. Wait. That is my line. The king orders. Seize him. But he starts rambling again. If I do not return, my adoptive father will proceed with plan B. The royal palace will run with blood. Lucky's power is immense. There is no telling what he is capable of. In the end, the king decides to let Mok Pong go. Man. If this were a novel, this guy would have been dead ages ago. Before he leaves, Yanhao gives him some advice. Young master, your martial arts are truly impressive. But when you have to use your ultimate technique at the same time, your power is greatly reduced. If you really want to face me, you would be better off getting rid of that fat transformation of yours. This hits a nerve with Mok Pong. He realized. He quickly leaves. Just you wait. We will meet again. With that, the chaos finally ends. And just like that, our hero gets to sleep in all day without Eunji bothering him. But of course, she comes back to yell him awake. My father wants to see you. The truth is finally revealed through their conversation. It turns out the king is also a master martial artist. He was just pretending to test our hero. But he was also wary that if he made a move, Duke Look would discover his skills, giving him more evidence to frame him for treason. But our hero knew from the moment they met. He only helped them because of Yunji, the knave girl who had no idea what was going on and begged for help. Even her own father is a top-tier master. But he just prefers to live in seclusion as a scholar to avoid conflict. Yanhao promised not to reveal this. Even though he already knew, the old man also gave him some advice. Look at the world as it is. Feel it with your heart. It was like an epiphany for our hero, unlocking the power to ascend to a new level. Finally, it was time for a good night's sleep. He had to leave this place in the morning,